Two VC funds announced within 2 weeks of each other, over $1 billion. One large tech monopoly, one of the largest home improvement retailers, coming to disrupt the supply chain and classical industries. These VC funds, the latest signal of how serious these companies are making investments in this space. Amazon really doubling down on B2B, announcing a $1 billion Amazon Industrial Innovation Fund. This is really looking at the entirety of the supply chain. It's $1 billion, so you can't just put all of that into B2B distribution. You'll be boiling the ocean. But they're looking at everything from robotics in manufacturing to logistics and trucking and 3PLs and tools that can enable / disrupt the logistics industry, as well as, yes, B2B distribution. And what Amazon's going to be doing with this fund is investing in tech startups that are going to help Amazon. So what does that mean for B2B distribution? What does that mean for incumbents in any of these verticals, right? In B2B distribution, in the logistics industry, in the manufacturing industry, is Amazon's going to try to disrupt your business model, right? They're going to try to invest in tech startups in B2B distribution that are going to help Amazon do what Amazon needs to do to take more business away from incumbent B2B distributors. Same thing in the logistics industry. Same thing in the manufacturing industry. So of the 5 investments they've made, most of them are focused on manufacturing and kind of robotics and automation there. A couple of the investments are broadly applicable that an incumbent might also be interested in using that tech startup software or solution. For example, they've got a kind of a workplace safety startup that gives wearable devices to employees so that, they eliminate employee injuries, in the factory, in the warehouse, etc. One startup was actually very cool, could also be applicable to be used by both incumbents in B2B distribution and logistics. It's basically using computer vision and alternative sources of data in the warehouse to bring more trusted intelligence and accuracy to your WMS, to your warehouse management tool and your ERP tools, so that you have correct tracking of what inventory is actually in the warehouse, right? And where is it in the warehouse? But now you have to ask yourself this question, which is, hey, if I'm an incumbent distributor or 3PL or logistics provider, and I'm going to now use this startup's tools, which looks really cool. Company has raised over $30 million in funding, has about a $60 million valuation, just raised their Series A, which the Amazon fund helped to lead. Does Amazon have a special relationship with this company and the data that they're getting from the warehouses that their software is implemented in? Maybe, probably not. I don't see Amazon on the board of the company. And so it doesn't look like they're trying to have some kind of control or influence, but you never really know unless you can read the actual investment docs and all the side letters. But again, Amazon is going to be investing in these businesses primarily to help Amazon. And there's always going to be a risk that if you're going to use a solution backed by Amazon's VC fund, that, there may be a gotcha somewhere involved in that. Another case in point here is Home Depot just announced their $150 million VC fund earlier this week. They're going to invest in early stage companies to accelerate emerging technologies that aim to improve the customer experience and shape the future of home improvement. We've already seen Home Depot in our last B2B newsletter send. We analyzed that Home Depot has made 7 tech investments and tech M&A transactions in the past 5 years. We highlighted one of the more interesting investments that they made in a company called Hover. They were one of the earliest investors in Hover, which uses also another image recognition based startup, uses amazing image recognition tools and technology to help roofers do estimates of, how big is the roof? How much would it cost to go and fix this roof or reshingle it or, do whatever kind of job you're trying to quote, and use that in your planning process as a roofer contractor, right? And so why this was actually one of the more impressive investments that Home Depot made is that now, many years after their initial investment, Home Depot continued to invest in the company. Now you have actually the top 3 roofing distributors in the country using this same software, using Hover. And Home Depot is getting some level of access to information. You don't know exactly what. But they're an investor in the company, right? They have rights to understand like how much throughput are you, right? Like, hey, Hover, how much volume are you seeing through your strategic partnerships? Maybe it's not broken out by which one of these three distributors, but from these, your three top strategic partnerships, how much volume is that bringing versus, your more kind of like direct to contractor business model, right? I mean, there is stuff that these companies will be privy to, and these companies, Home Depot and Amazon included, are absolutely trying to erode margins, best case scenario for incumbent B2B distributors, and disintermediate them, best case scenario for the disruptors, in this case, Home Depot and Amazon. And they are using these VC funds strategically to advance their position in the supply chain. They state it very clearly here, right? Bullet number 2. What is the purpose of the fund? Evolve how professional customers efficiently manage and grow their businesses, saving them time and money. You can see the strategy. The strategy is working. The stat is over half of Home Depot's revenue comes from their pro community. If you're interested in seeing what's really going on with innovation in B2B distribution, go check out our video covering our ranking of our top 50 B2B marketplaces, which came out last year. Our top ranking on the list was worth roughly $1 billion when the ranking came out, and now is worth $12 billion. Go check out that video, and you can also download that report for free.